So you've seen us do a team of wonderkids, you've seen us do a team of overpowered players, but now we've got something for you guys who don't have as much of a budget. We're going to be looking at a full team of 11 players who are free agents in FM22. And you know what? If you put this full squad together, it's actually a pretty good team. Hello everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and as I mentioned, today we'll be looking at a full team of free agent players making a squad that hopefully is actually one that could compete at some level. I'm not saying it would win the Champions League, but this squad together might do all right. Before we get into it though, I'd like to ask you guys if you could smash the like button on the video. It would really help in its performance. I really do mean that. Any support there is greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below your favourite free agent player you've ever signed, not just in FM22. And if you want to as well, you can find my channel linked in the description down below, where we've got some Let's Play stuff going on, rebuilds, and a new series starting with Villarreal. So if you want to check that out, I'd also greatly appreciate that. And last thing, before we get into the video, a word to our gracious sponsors over at SPITCH. You might have already heard me talk about SPITCH in a previous video, but if you haven't, SPITCH is a fantasy football app available for people in the UK, Ireland, Germany and Austria over the age of 18. Unlike normal fantasy football that takes place along the course of a season, SPITCH focuses on individual weekly tournaments where you can select your side to win prizes. There's both free leagues and paid for leagues, all of which have their own unique rewards to be won. All you need to do to get involved is download the app through the link in the description, which would really help us out at FMSCOUT as well. Then you'll have to register. You might have to show your ID to do that. Once you're on there though, you can select your side, pick your captain, 4 bonus points, and use the statistical analysis features in SPITCH to pick the best side possible and compete for prizes. Prove you are the best fantasy football manager, give it a go, see what you think. Now let's get back to the video. Whenever I do these team videos, goalkeepers are always the hardest position to nail down, and then when you limit that to free agents, it gets even harder. It should be noted, you might remember we did a free agents video at the start of FM22. Since then there's been database updates, plenty of updates have happened, new players added, new players moved to different clubs, contract expiring, that kind of thing. So this is an updated video. Most of these players are completely new, and the goalkeeper is Marian Prinz. He's a German free agent player who he's a decent goalkeeper, 6'4", good with both feet. That's pretty much where it ends. He's got some nice goalkeeping attributes. At 21, he does have room to grow. He's not going to play for Chelsea or Manchester United, but maybe once he's developed a championship level goalkeeper, there's a possibility of that eventually. He's a product of the Bayer Leverkusen Academy, never got a game, went out to the 3rd division in Germany, didn't get a game, and then went out to his club's second team, Munster's second team, where he played 10 times and was released. But it looks like he'll be a capable player with some development, obviously depending on the level that you're at, but don't worry, it gets better from here. In the right back spot is one of my favourite players in this list, and as is the case with a few of them, if they've got a wanted sign next to them, there's a reason why. They're a player who's available for free, who is of good quality. Lots of clubs are going to be in for them, and you'll have to act quick in your saves. The player we have here is Mark Navarro. He can play on the left, but ideally he's a right back or a right wing back who is good going forward, decent defensively, and pretty good physically as well. He's not lacking in too many areas. He's 6'2", so it's not like he's small either. He's wanted by a decent championship side in Huddersfield, so you know that he can play at that level, but I would argue he can go even further. He did have a big injury in 2016 which might have threw him off track a little bit, but he can still be a good player and he's got plenty of time to have a career ahead of him still. The first centre back we're looking at in our team is the Italian Vasco Regini. 5 under-21 caps for the 30-year-old, never made it into the Italian senior side, but at one point was classed as a player who had some decent potential. Left-footed, 6'1", and some decent physical attributes make up a centre back who isn't maybe going to be aerially dominant, but he is someone that can do a job for sides of a certain level. Mentally, pretty well rounded as well, and same technically. He's not really amazing in too many areas, but he's not lacking in too many either, and as a player who could maybe deputise at left back and centre back, he could be someone worth picking up in your saves should you need a player in that position. I mean, arguably he's a better left back than he is a centre back, but that's up to you guys. Check him out, see if he's available, get him on trial, and if he works for your team, pick him up. Don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying Goarin, but our other centre-back in this list is one I've actually had prior experience with on a few occasions. Massadio it's a criminal really that he is available on a free transfer. The 30-year-old Argentine has had 6 caps for his international team. It's a big surprise he hasn't been picked up because whilst he might not be the tallest, he's great physically, very, very good mentally, and very good technically as well. I had him for my Lille team once. I also had him in a Lazio save last year, where he was also a free agent, I believe, or at least he became a free agent all the time. I don't understand how this guy could easily come into a team like Chelsea, to be honest, and be their 5th, 6th choice centre-back, so he could definitely go to a team lower level Premier League and do a good job. But he is someone, at least in a Football Manager sense, who can definitely offer a lot to even some of the world's biggest sides, so check him out. He can be a top tier player for you, I promise it. I always used to sign this guy in Football Manager. He's now a free agent, maybe not at the level that he used to be, but he did used to be someone that Juventus would transfer list quite often, and that is Kwadwo Asamoah. I don't know how you pronounce that first name, so apologies if it was wrong, but the Ghanaian has tons of international experience. He can still do a really good job at left back, I would have thought, because technically and mentally especially, he's pretty much impeccable, guys. I absolutely love his attributes, to be honest here. Didn't realise how good they were until I got ready for this video. Physically, might be lacking in some areas, but realistically, he's decently quick, got some decent balance, naturally fit, strong. There's top division French, Italian, and a second division English team interested in him here, and I'm sure that interest will continue to go up. But the man's got work rate, he's got good teamwork, positioning, determination, decently quick, good technicals, can go forward, can defend. Why wouldn't you want this guy? Even if it's just to be your deputy left back, he is still a great option. A legend of Football Managers gone by, Freddy Guarin, the Colombian central midfielder, is a free agent. Unlike some of the others, you're definitely only going to get 1, maybe 2 years out of this man. At the age of 35, he's already had 58 appearances for the Colombian national team, but that does not mean that he is done as a midfielder. Not at all. He is wanted by some decent clubs here, and that's the kind of level that he would probably play at, but let's look at him realistically on paper, forgetting everything we used to know about him and how good he could be. Mentally, brilliant, solid in every single area other than concentration, but everything else is at a very good level. Technically, brilliant, can tackle, can pass, has great technique. He's a good set piece taker, a good header of a ball, great with his long shots, again, pretty much perfect technically. It's only his physicals where he's starting to dwindle down, but if you do play him in a deeper role, maybe a playmaking role, and don't expect him to run so much, he can really do a job with some nice player traits as well, particularly shooting with power, shooting from distance with 15 long shots. You're going to get some screamers out of this guy. You can add some experience to your squad and also on his day get a top level central midfielder to put in your side for free. But if you do want a younger option who you could maybe develop for a few years and sell on for a profit, then Hassen might be a good player. He's a Mauritian player who has 46 appearances for the national team and 8 goals, who is still only 23 at this stage, so he's probably going to get plenty more caps from here on out. I'm not saying he's at the level of some of the other players. He's not going to ever play Premier League football or anything like that. But maybe give this guy a trial, see what your scouts recommend of him. Is he worth a place in your squad, depending on who you are managing? Maybe he might be. Physically, not too much going on, but mentally and technically as well, he's got some nice attributes to build up from. He's not going to develop all that much. He's not going to turn into a superstar and you can sell him on for £100 million. But if you're looking for a bit of squad depth, maybe Hassen is your guy. Just give him a try, give him a trial, see what you think and take it from there. Another midfielder for your side who can also play in those forward lines, we have Henry Sivay. He's a Senegalese, I guess you would call him attacking midfielder. It looks like the championship teams are all swirling around looking to bring him in, and you can kind of see why. He's very well rounded, good with both feet, strong mentally and good technically as well, with some good player traits and a decent career history to back it up. He's played out in France for years with Bordeaux and Angers, then he went over to Newcastle during their period of buying every half-decent French player under the sun. Didn't quite work out for him there, and he went back to Saint Etienne, where he was a pretty important player. He then went over to Turkey, where he's played for the last few seasons, and then he's ended his career at Newcastle with no appearances over the last few years and released on a free. He could definitely offer something in the lower divisions of football, as you saw there. If championship sides are considering good enough, chances are he is a good championship player. He's versatile, he's got enough quality to be big in certain moments for your sides, and I still think Henry Sivay has got something left in his locker. Another very good attacking option if you're in a championship level club could be Jota. The Spanish 30-year-old is certainly good enough for second division sides and even some top division sides in other leagues, and the way we know this is because he's done it for years and years. He was a championship mainstay with Brentford, being a big player for them in their time in the championship. He then moved on to Birmingham, then Aston Villa in the Premier League, and then Alaves in La Liga, and then from there Villa have set him free and allowed him to be a free agent, but he's definitely someone who can offer something still. Cutting inside on that right hand side, Jota is good physically, very, very good technically for a free agent player, and has some nice mentals to back it up. He's certainly got something left in him. Championship sides are swarming to try and get that form back that he showed at Brentford. Try him out, see what you think. I think he could definitely do a job at that level. 2 players left now, and we have 2 strikers to finish off with. The first one is a younger option in Kwansong, a North Korean with 2 appearances for the national team. The striker is good with both feet, has an all-round base set of physical attributes that aren't causing too much harm, but also aren't amazing either, but they're fine for the level that they're at. Mentally, he's actually pretty strong in the attributes that he needs to be, and then technically, he's got good finishing ability, good first touch, and some other nice attributes alongside that. Yes, he's not setting the world alight, but he is a decent striking option. Like all these players in this list, give him a trial first, see what your scouts think, and then take it from there if they're worth signing. But we finish off with the GOAT of all free agents, the player that I signed last year as a free agent with Lazio and still now represents a great option as a Chelsea fan. I absolutely loved having Diego Costa in our side. I know opposition fans probably hated coming up against him, but I imagine in hindsight now, people can look back and go, you know what? He was pretty fun to watch in the Premier League, and he certainly, whether you liked him or not, had bags of quality. Good with both feet, the Spaniard has 24 caps for the national team and 10 goals. He also played for the Brazilian national team before that. Likes to wind up opponents, that is saying the least in his player traits. Can hold the ball up, very good physically, amazing mentally. And then technically, there's not a fault on this guy. He's also got a perfectionist personality, so don't worry that he's going to affect your dressing room or anything like that. We can see some good Premier League sides are interested in this man, as well as some good French division sides as well. There is a lot of interest in him, and you can see why. He is born to score goals, and in Football Manager, this guy will do the job for you, I promise. There you go, guys. That is the end of today's video. Stepping away from the normal wonder kids and looking at some free agent players. Hopefully, some of you guys found this interesting and even just found 1 or 2 players that you might be able to pick up in your next save. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to smash the like button. Feel free to check out my channel linked in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you again to SPITCH for sponsoring the video. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.